The political class in the zoo, be they Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, that's not like Hausa, Fulani, because Fulani conquered Hausa and they ceased to exist. I don't count them in the scheme of things. The political class in the zoo, Nigeria, is a group of finely selected, voracious criminals, intent on stealing, intent on impoverishing the lives of the masses. They have no conscience, nor regard for human life. In the zoo, Nigeria, you will come to the realization that there is something deeply evil about black people. Nigeria epitomizes everything that is bad in a black person. Nothing is done the proper way. They visit civilized countries, they come back more foolish than when they left. Nigeria will go down in history as the greatest mistake that Britain ever made. The greatest mistake they ever made. Both INEC in Nigeria, WAEC, the West African Examination Council, the judiciary, all are institutions of corruption. In Nigeria, they manufacture corruption. These agencies I've just mentioned must be held accountable for the fraud called Jubril. The fact that INEC accepted nomination papers from APC, fielding a Sudanese man, a fraud, makes INEC an accomplice to fraud and deception. The Fulani Caliphate have ruled Nigeria more than anybody else. And that is why Nigeria is in a mess. You cannot give what you don't have. If you have no class, you don't have it. Money can't buy it for you. A certificateless cattle-rearing dictator was rehabilitated by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku, Obasanjo and the rest, and gave him to all of you. Some of you voted for him. You see why I love Biafrans? We see fraud from a mile away. Southeast and South-South never voted for him. Biafrans never did. Even Yorubas forgot that Biafrans voted for Abiola. We see what others cannot see. I wish one day that envy and jealousy can let them appreciate how blessed the Biafrans are. There is no need talking about fight against corruption when the impostor in Aso Rock is corruption personified. Corruption. The world knows Jubril is not Buhari. The zoo, Nigeria, is a fraudulent country full of fake people with fake promises. Remember Abacha's Constituent Assembly? To Obasanjo's reform, whatever he called it, conference, to Jonathan's confab. Have you ever asked yourself why nothing ever happened to any of these fanciful get-together? Because the same oil-dependent, lazy allocation, sharing, northern cabal are the ones that made sure that none of these reports saw the light of day. Because within each and every one of them is a provision for autonomy. They don't want it. They know if Nigeria were to be split into regions the way it were before, that we in the East will make them look very bad. So what they did is to dump down everybody. So we sink low to the Alamajiri level. We no longer reason properly. All we care about is 1,000 naira for our PVC so we can go and vote. Just 1,000 naira. If you do very well, you get 4,000 naira. People no longer reason. Because Nigerians now reason more or less like Alamajiris. They don't think properly anymore. People who are so lazy, I'm talking about Nigeria, that they base their entire future on oil and gas proceeds from Biafra land. I'm not blaming anybody. The British, our creator, the creator of Nigeria. I say our because they lumped Biafra into Nigeria. Placed them in a very good position. When you give an illiterate control over money with political power and military might, there's only one likely outcome. Disaster. Disaster, absolute disaster. That's what happened in the zoo. Do you know that Buhari never completed any school program? Some of you don't know this, but I'll tell you. Or any course in his life. Just imagine how he made it to the rank of a major general. Just because he's Fulani, beloved of the British. APC said they will restructure Nigeria. What happened when they got into office? It's even in their manifesto. Today they have turned around 360 degrees to unleash the most criminally violent regime in Nigeria's history. If you think Atiku will restructure Nigeria, then you're even more stupid than Abba Kyari that thought he can get away with planting Jubilee. Because nothing will happen. Do you know they control the Senate and the House of Reps? Any change you vote for must go through the House of Reps and Senate, where they have inbuilt majority. So we should stop dreaming and join IPOB to boycott elections if you want instant results. The only restructuring that Nigeria has ever undertaken is to restructure Jubilee's face to make him look like Buhari. That's the only restructure they have done. They restructured his face so he can look like Buhari. The truth is that, do you see the Fulani you're saying to talk about one Nigeria? We must live together as brothers and sisters. The Fulani people never believed in one Nigeria. You guys will get ready to play that clip from me, from Ahmadu, but I played it in 2015. Or 2014. And Buhari was shouting. Some of you say I don't respect Dr. Nnamdi Kanu. I want to tell you why I don't respect him. All of us will listen to this clip tonight. And then you will know that there is something wrong, seriously wrong, with how we reason. I want to prove to anybody listening tonight, to everybody I should say, and to anybody for that matter listening tonight, that Fulani people never wanted one Nigeria. I want to prove to you that Fulani people have always hated Igbo people and will hate us forever and ever. You get to go on your radio plate for me so that they can listen. The world can listen and understand what I'm talking about. You're going to hear the voice of Sam Adubelo. I give it to him. He's very intelligent. As a matter of fact, I actually like him because he is always, or he was always, defending the interest of the North. To hell with one Nigeria. That's what he was saying. Until Azikiwe came with his useless sense. And when I'm going to buy no watching Keta. Are you ready? Please play him for me, please. That the world may know. That the world may know what we're talking about.
Major talks about killing your premier. Add on top of that the North's general hate of the East. And you can start to get the picture of the sort of tribal tension Nigeria was heading towards.
One thing I've noticed, Premier, while I've been here, is that Northerners seem to have, I might almost call it, obsession about the Igbos. Could you perhaps explain that to me?
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our Northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 Northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it Northernized, and now all important posts are being held by Northerners.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the North solely with Northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or a permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a Northerner first. If you can't get a Northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract. If we can't, then we can employ another Nigerian, but on contract too. This is going to be permanent, I should say, as far as I can foresee, because it will be rather dangerous to see the number of boys who are now turning from all our learning institutions coming out with having no work to do. I'm sure whichever government of the day might be, it will feel rather embarrassed, and it might even lead to bloodshed.
Doesn't this damage the idea, sir, of all people in all regions in Nigeria being fellow citizens of one country?
Well, it might, but you are, new to our region, but how many Northerners are employed in the East or in the West? The answer is no. And if there may be 10 laborers employed only.
I hope it's very clear now. The voice you were hearing there is that of Sir Ahmadu Bello. Because of this very interview, a coup was arranged and he was killed. I don't support it. I think the coup was very foolish. Those that planned the coup was very naive. They believed in one Nigeria. But this is a man protecting the interest of his own people. He made it very clear that he does not believe in one Nigeria. He was talking to a white man and saying to a white man, if I don't have a Northerner who can do the job, I will give it to a white person. I will not give it to an African person. I will give it to a British man or woman. These are the people you want to be in the same country with. It is their children and their children's children that are killing you today in the army. They are the ones in Boko Haram. They are the ones in Fulani terrorists, Miyetti Allah, the headsmen. Do you see the way they reason? Do you see how they think? Nnamdi Azikiwe is well educated. He knew all these things. But the allure and the attraction of being the head of state in this vast wasteland that includes the North was the reason why he agreed to step down for Tafawa Balewa. Or to agree with the fraudulent census that was conducted and used as the basis of allocating seats in the Federal House then in Lagos. How can I listen to such a person and then afterwards I want to be in the same country with you? I must be foolish. Do you see why I don't like Azikiwe? It's very simple and very practical. This is Radio Biafra. I just played for you a very simple clip that will be with me forever and ever until my dying day. That Britain put me in a country with a group of people that hate me. Do you know why we are suffering today? Because it was Nzogu that killed Ahmadu Bello. And Ahmadu Bello said, Igbos are domineering. Understand it very well. And the person that said that Igbos are domineering, you went ahead and killed him. So everybody will say, yeah, that is true. Igbos are domineering. And that's it. And it's stuck till this day. Anytime anybody from Biafra land wants to play this one Nigeria card, they end up getting all of us into trouble. Ironsi did it. He's married to my aunt. He did it. Trying to make Nigeria one. He died in the process. And Nigeria is not one and can never be one. Nzogu did it. They had their coup so Nigeria can be one. Is Nigeria one today? Look at Azikiwe. Is Nigeria one today? Look at all the politics of Ohaneze. of the Wanyamus, of the Ikenwachukwus or Masanda. Look at all of them. Appeasement, appeasing the North, appeasing the North, appeasing the North. Jonathan went to campaign in the North and they stoned him. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed. But ordinary Buratai, a cattle header, I don't know who gave him a gun, promoted him to Lieutenant General, that they blocked, protesters blocked his road. They didn't throw stones at him or anything. He killed over 1,000 people. What does that tell you about Nigeria? What does that tell you about the zoo? The truth is that the Muslim North never wanted one Nigeria. Ahmadu Bello's hatred for the Igbos is well known and documented. He never wanted to be in the same country with Southerners because he said we are domineering. He did not hide his hatred. And this is the man that Tinubu will call the founding fathers. When a founding father of your country is sounding as bigoted as Ahmadu Bello is sounding, why would you want to be in that country? I ask you. Some of you, when it comes